Hello, folks. I'm David, and this is From the Hip podcast. As always, we're sponsored by the Covenant Studios, and we always film in the Say What podcast studio. And I've got a new-to-town model with me today, and her name is Corrine.
Yes.
And we're going to learn about her today. So first, introduce yourself, Corrine.
I'm Crrine Carey. Nice to meet you guys. First time at Covenant Studios, and I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It shoots real well.
I know, yeah. The light set up, camera mounted, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to deviate, folks,
Okay.
because I was talking to Corrine when she came in. We've never met before. But I want to know about your house flipping.
Okay. So I have been flipping houses for, I'd say about 4 years.
Okay.
It started in 2020 when I lived in Denver. And so I lived there. I was born and raised in the same house. Mom passed away. So I inherited that property. That's how I got my first property. Under the circumstances, I'm very lucky. But, you know, it sucks. But had to kind of move on. But I couldn't be there anymore. And never wanted to get rid of it. Because I'm very sentimental. You know, I'm very,
Right, I understand.
you know, very emotionally attached to it. So I started flipping it then, and I have a best friend that he helps me. He's taught me how to do flooring, drywall, he's taught me a lot. So we tore out all the carpets, which it was a full carpeted house. Tore out all the carpets, redid the floors, refinished the bathrooms, knocked out the tile and stuff like that. So, and I didn't want to sell that property, so I eventually just rented it out. And I had some nightmare tenants, unfortunately.
What happens?
It was so bad. It was very bad. They were a trip. But now I have great tenants. And it's actually my friend that helped me renovate my property. Yeah, and he lives in the property, and he's very attentive. And I have 2 other tenants as well along with him. And they're great. They always pay me on time. They're very respectful. They keep my house, you know, in good condition, which I care. I don't care if you're dirty, right? I don't care if you're messy, you know, stuff around that can be cleaned. But if you structurally ruin my house, you know, we got an issue. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. So after that, I moved to Nebraska, of all places. Very boring.
Why?
Right. Very boring. To be closer to family.
Okay.
My biological dad lives out there, my stepmom. And so I moved out there, and to me and my brother that I've never really had a relationship with, because we both had separate moms. We have separate moms, and so we share a dad. And so we never didn't grow up together or anything like that. So he's from Las Vegas, and I'm from Colorado, and he moved in with me for, I'd say, about a year, and then we moved to Nebraska together. And we rented one of my dad actually flips properties. My stepmom and my dad flips properties too, so that's where I learned a lot of my trade as well. And so we moved out there, and my dad bought a house. It was a 4-bedroom and 3-bath house for $38,000.
Wow.
In the middle of nowhere, but you know, and so they flipped it, and they worked on it for a long time, but me and my brother were going to live in it together. And my dad's a stickler about pets, and I have a lot of animals, and my friend was able to watch my animals for a very long time until I was able to get my own property in Nebraska, which was luckily down the street from that house that I was living in, so I didn't have to move very far. And then I got my animals back.
All right. How many animals?
So I had 3 dogs and a couple fishes and, you know, hamsters and stuff. But 2 of my dogs passed away, unfortunately. So I only have the one. And then I accumulated a cat. But me and my brother together, we have 2 dogs and 4 cats.
Okay.
But I only have two of them with me. So here. So, yeah.
So when I first contacted you, I thought you were living in Colorado. Is that correct?
I was bouncing between Colorado and Nebraska.
Okay.
But mainly in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Because I missed it so much. Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah, I kind of bounced because I missed it so much. I would go and stay with my friend for like 2 weeks out of the month and then come home. And it was boring, and I'm like, I can't be here. There's nothing to do here, so I'm going to go, you know?
So what brought you to Dallas?
Work, a lot of work opportunity, a lot of goals that I want to reach. I feel like they're all booming industries. And I already kind of had a base with the modeling of 10 years. I've already been here like 15 times over the course of 10 years. So I already have a bunch of clients that I love to work with, and they love to work with me, and some friends. So I wasn't kind of starting out from scratch. You know what I mean? So I felt like I had more of a strong base here. And then a couple people, you've had her on the podcast before, her name's Jasmine. She's just like, you should move to Dallas. And then she kind of showed me around, and she kind of, like, she's like, you should really move to Dallas. Come on, come on, we're gonna get you to move. And a couple photographers were like, you guys need to move here. So I ended up doing that.
Now, when you say you guys, you and the pets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how did you get into modeling?
so I've always wanted, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be some type of model. I loved being behind cameras, in front of cameras, I'm sorry. Always loved, like, anytime somebody would pick up a camera, I'm like, ooh, camera. And then I'd, like, go and try to be in the photo. So I knew that I always wanted to be some type of model. But I'm too short for, like, fashion, unfortunately, like, the main fashion, line. So I started doing some portfolio work in Denver and just trying to reach out to a couple of photographers to help build my portfolio. And then I met another model, and she saw a lot of potential in me, and she's like, girl, you can make money. And I was like, okay, show me how. So she kind of showed me the ropes and some bases, and we traveled together for a little bit, and she kind of helped me learn the industry, and then we went our separate ways, and then I kind of took it from there. So
you're an experienced model.
10 years.
10 years. And what all genres do you shoot?
I mainly get booked for, like, lingerie shoots, but I've done cosplay, fashion, editorial, commercial work, but I mainly get booked for lingerie work.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned Jasmine. Did you know her prior to moving here?
So we did. I found her on Facebook. She posted in the Denver groups for photographers, and she's like, hey, I'm in the area. Anybody want to book me? And I saw her, and I was obsessed with her because I love her look. Just, mwah. She's good at what she does, facial expressions, outfits, everything, very professional. And I was obsessed with her, and I was like, I want to work with you. So she came to Denver, and my friend out in Denver owns a ranch. So we ended up holding a workshop out there with horses, and it went extremely well, and we just kind of clicked. So I knew her prior to moving here as well, and then when I visited back in August, she showed me around, just like living-wise, like what I can do and all that stuff. So, and I was like, I kind of love it here. So, yeah.
You knew Jasmine. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Whatley earlier. Mm-hmm. Did you know her prior, or did you meet her after you moved here?
I met her actually. She had I guess it was like an event. It was like a networking event shortly after I moved here that I met her in person. However, we've been conversating online for a long time, so we knew of each other. We followed each other's work, and I like her work as well. So very kind. So yeah, it was kind of awesome to meet her in person, and we plan to host a Valentine's Day shoot. That I'm
here, hopefully.
Yeah. And then I'm building, so I also build photography sets too, and I'm building like a little set for us to shoot on for Valentine's Day, which will be cute. What kind of set? So we decided on, I sent her a few things, but we kind of ended up on, it's going to be a hanging swing, and then I'm going to put like flowers and vines around it, and then I'm going to put a bunch of like flowers and vines around and stuff. So it's kind of like, we ended up on that concept. I gave her a few, but, she liked that one, and I was like, let's do it. So it's going to be like almost like a dreamy type set, I guess.
Well, so and Whatley, so we have the screws already in the ceiling. We've had a swing in Studio B before.
Okay.
All you got to do is just tie onto that.
Okay. That'd be easy enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can do that Studio B.
Okay. Yeah.
And Studio A, maybe.
Okay.
We have that set up also. Mm-hmm. We don't ever use it, but it's available.
Okay. I'll talk to her about it. We've been talking about places to shoot it, so yeah, I'll run it by her.
Whatley lives close to us.
Yeah.
And closer than you do.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a little hop skip to get here, but I don't mind.
Well, it's not that far.
Yeah, and especially with living in Nebraska, I lived in a teeny tiny town of 200 people, and even to get to like a Walmart or a grocery store was 45 minutes any way that you go.
Don't you hate that?
It was so annoying, and now I'm like, ooh, Walmart's down the road, yay. I'm excited about it. I'm like, I am so tired of traveling, because you really have to like plan these trips out per week. I'm like, okay, on Tuesday I'm gonna go to the grocery store, like 35 miles each way. Like, yeah, it's a little bit.
Well, I lived in East Texas for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted anything special, it was 100 miles to come to Dallas to get what I might want.
Yeah.
Now, Walmart was only, 20 minutes away.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, but it's a whole lot easier when it's, 5 minutes away.
Yeah, it's more appealing, and especially like with making friends and stuff. People will be like, "Oh, I'm only 15 minutes away." If it's like 45 minutes, they're like, "Maybe we should meet halfway."
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets annoying, but I'm glad that I'm here now. I'm already meeting a lot of people, accomplishing a lot, and setting a lot of goals that I want for myself. So I'm starting to knock them out, and it's about time too, because I'm a city person. I can be a country girl, but I just like to be busy, and I don't like to be bored. And I was super bored out there for 4 years.
Well, where I lived in East Texas, everything was a drive.
Yeah.
And I used to fish a lot.
Okay.
And I was 3 miles from the lake. That's why I moved to that particular lake.
Did you have a boat?
Oh, yeah.
Speedboat? Or what kind of boat was it?
I had a bass boat because I was big into bass fishing.
Okay.
At one time, I was fishing 100 days a year,
Wow.
which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Well, I was competing in tournaments, 3 different circuits,
Okay.
all about a 200-mile radius.
Okay.
But most of the lakes that I enjoyed fishing were in East Texas.
Yeah.
But I've had 2 or 3 Mastercraft ski boats in the past.
Okay.
My first wife was a tournament water skier.
Cool.
And so after we hooked up, got married, bass boats aren't good for water skiing,
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
especially for her type.
Yeah.
She trick skied, which I think she was tricking at 13 miles an hour.
Okay.
And a bass boat just plows along at that.
Yeah.
It never gets on plane.
Right.
And so I've had 2 of those
Okay.
in my career.
I had a boat.
Yeah.
Worst decision of my life. When I turned 30, I got myself a pontoon.
A party boat.
It was like a lounging boat, and that's all I wanted. Is just like jump in and stock up in the middle of the lake and just hang out all day. I don't need to be speeding around and stuff. But yeah, I got a boat, and that was not good. It was a used boat, unfortunately. So it broke down the first day I got it out on the water. Yep, and then I had to use my jet ski to get us back to land. Yeah, so just like a bunch of problems with that one. It was fun while it lasted, but it was really big. So I was like, I don't know how to even back this in. So I had to have like friends back it in for me. I'm like, I know it's my boat, but I don't know how to back it in. I was just like, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I'm like, I want to do that. Let's do that. And then I thought about it later. So yeah, that was fun.
Well, a boat is great when you first get it, but the upkeep, the storage, the cleaning,
Yeah,
the expense,
the winterizing and all that. Yeah.
yeah, when you get rid of it, is your best day of your life.
When you get it and when you sell it, that's when you're like, yeah.
Yeah, 2 best days of your life.
Yep, it was. Now I'm just gonna rent a boat. I'll just rent one. Note to self: rent a boat. Don't get one.
Yeah.
It's a lot less, effort and stuff. But I have a boating license, which is cool, and I took 8-hour course for it. Just to be able to jet ski, because you have to be licensed in Nebraska in order to jet ski or be on a boat, and it's weird.
Well, in Texas, it's anything goes.
Okay, a little bit more laid back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that it shouldn't be required.
right. For some things, of course, yes.
Well, as much time as I spend on the water, you see a lot of crazy things.
Yep.
And some people have no business being behind the wheel
Of
a boat.
anything, even cars.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you should be tested every 5 years just to make sure you're not a stickler behind the wheel. So.
Well, let's not do that to driver's licenses.
Some people, I'm like, you shouldn't be able to drive, period.
I drive 320 miles a day.
Really?
Yeah, my full-time job is a courier.
Okay.
I do 324 miles, actually, a day. And
That's a lot.
It's a lot of driving.
Yeah, that is a lot of driving.
And I'm getting old.
You're like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, I could drive till I was dead.
Yeah.
But
Driving that miles a day, I get mad after like,
5 miles.
yeah. I'm like, okay, can we be there already? Going back from like Nebraska and Denver, it was only 6 hours, but after 6 hours, I have to get like a motel room or something that, for any more than that, I can't drive that far without getting tired and annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're annoyed with other drivers.
Yeah. Just in general, I'm like, I'm tired. I want to be there already. I'm bored. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's talk more about your modeling.
Okay.
You've been here how long now? 3 weeks?
About almost a month. In
Okay.
a couple days, almost a month. Yeah.
And
So-
have you done a lot of shoots?
I have done some shoots, yes. I have some booked this week and next week, but then I'll probably go back home for the holidays. It's going to be a little bit of a drive, you know. I've already booked a lot of shoots and met a lot of cool people and went to a couple events and built some more relationships that I can build on. So it's been good so far.
You know that we have 2 major airports here,
Yeah.
Southwest and DFW.
Yeah.
So
Just the
fly.
trick is, yeah, I don't have anybody to watch my animals though.
you're going to take them with you?
Yep. Yes, I am. My cat too. He does good though. Like he's trained on a leash. He's kennel trained. And he's just awesome. He's like good with baths and stuff. I started really young, just like desensitizing him to a lot of things. So I walk him. Yeah, I walk my cat. And he does great. So
That's different.
it is different. People are like, are you walking your cat? I'm like, yes. You're damn right I am. So yeah, he's awesome. So
So what does it take you, 12 hours to drive in Nebraska?
9 up to Nebraska, spend a few days there, and then I'm going to go to Denver. So 9 and 6.
15.
Then back and back. Yeah, because I have a truck in Nebraska that I didn't bring with me, and I'm gonna pick that guy up. That's why I'm not also just trying to find somebody to watch my animals, because I do need to drive my truck back. So
What will you do with the car you drive up there?
I'm going to leave it at my friend David's house.
Oh, okay.
It's a safe neighborhood, and it's gated, so yeah, and he's out there every day kind of scoping. A lot of people have cameras, so yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, I got to pick up my truck. And I only got a truck for my boat. I got the boat first, and then I got the truck. I was like, oh yeah, I need something to pull it with. And then I got a truck.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and then I got so I got that, so.
Why don't you sell the truck now?
I probably will, but I feel like it would sell a lot quicker here for a little bit more money. I did have to kind of fix it up a little bit, but it's in really good condition for the year that it is.
What is it?
So it's a Dodge Ram 1500.
A year.
I think it's a 2007. It's really good condition. So I love that truck, but I don't necessarily need it right now.
Extended cab.
So-
Well, folks, if you need a Dodge Ram.
Right? Or you need somebody to help you tow stuff.
Yeah.
Hire me.
You sound very energetic.
I am. I'm toning it down for you, though. I don't want to overwhelm you.
Well,
I don't
don't
wanna-
turn it down for me.
Okay.
And the audience would probably love it.
Okay. Especially our first time meeting. I don't want you to think I'm crazy yet.
Well, you got kind of red hair, right?
Naturally, I'm a blonde, though.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. But I've been on this color for a couple years, and yeah.
Well, I have to offend a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah. You're too smart to be a blonde.
Am I? I'm a dirty blonde, so if that makes a difference.
Dirty in what way?
It's
I'm
it's
kidding.
like I was like, it's like a darker color. So, but yeah.
So how long have you been a redhead?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go back blonde eventually, but a lot of clients love this color, so I'm gonna stick with it for probably another like 6 months, and go back blonde like summertime.
Well, Whatley can tell you where to get wigs.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a lot of her stuff with wigs, and I'm like, those look good. I just put them up when I'm working on my hair,
Yeah, she can rock the wigs.
I
I'll tell
know.
you.
I know. I love it. So,
Yeah, I'd at least met Whatley a few times, just in passing, because she shot in the studio a lot,
yeah.
but had never got to know her. And I told her about it, I'm not a huge fan of tattoos, but I accept them now. But I was having a hard time with the blue hair.
Yeah, it can be a taste. But I mean, she rocks it, so.
She does.
You know what I mean? Especially for modeling, because it kind of gives you like an edgy look as well as you can throw on a wig if you have somebody that, I've had people want me to cover up some of my tattoos with makeup, and then they book me. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think there's enough makeup to cover up Whitley's tattoos.
Yeah, she has a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw an image somebody shot of her in her blonde wig. Mm-hmm. I thought, she is drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah. It's a different look, but yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your best modeling experience?
I did a couple Playboy sets. So that was it meant a lot to me. Just
Why?
to kind of, just like building myself up from like being brand new, you know what I mean? And just building this into my career. Like I absolutely love it. I love being in the industry. I love the people that I work with. I love the people that I meet, the concepts we come up with, being able to travel a lot. And I just love it all around. So I also do photography. And
Okay.
yeah, so I definitely want to, another goal of mine in the future is to open either a studio space with specialized sets or outsource my sets to other studios. So
Be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
yeah. Oh, I will. I was like, I will. Just watch. I will.
Having a studio is not glamorous, lucrative, or a whole lot of fun sometimes.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I hear that.
But you meet some really cool people.
Yeah. And that's a big perk of the industry is the people that you meet and run into. It's like, and building those relationships, you know what I mean? It's really cool to do that.
Well, and there are some awesome creative people out there
Yeah.
that, I've met quite a few of them having the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed. And I talk about Glenn a lot. I mean, I see images he does in the studio, and I don't recognize the studio because he has the ability to take pieces from our prop room and put them together in a set
Yeah.
for a shoot that, nobody else has done it that way.
Yeah. That's why, especially if you have a studio that has a bunch of props and furniture and stuff, you can make
Like we
so
do.
many different sets. And it's kind of like the possibilities are kind of overwhelming. I built I did a Christmas set at my house last night, and it took me 6 hours to build. But it was worth it. I'm shooting with it tonight, and I'm really excited. And
So what'd you do?
I'll have to show you a picture of it, but it's kind of like, so the inspiration was like Candyland, right? But like
Uh-huh.
a winter Candyland. So I have a few snow-covered trees, and then I built a bunch of like, they're like, it's kind of hard to explain. A bunch of candy canes kind of coming out of the ground. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it kind of looks like candy.
Blooming candy cane.
Yeah, like almost flowered candy canes coming out of the ground. So it looks almost like a candy cane winterland. So it looks really cool though. I wasn't happy at first. I really wanted to build a bunch of big candy canes about like this big and put a bunch of them. So it looks like a candy cane forest, but them as like trees. And as the night was progressing, I didn't like how it was turning out. So I went back to Walmart and then just got a bunch of different other things that I can throw in there, and then it ended up working out. So yeah, I have a few different things that I can also throw in there, so I'm excited about it. It looks really good.
So how long will you leave this up?
Probably till Tuesday or Wednesday, just because of my cat. He's trying to play with it and like bop them and like, and like eat the snow. And I'm like, dude, stop it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how long my cat's going to be like, I have to play with everything on here. You know what I mean?
As long as he's alive.
Yeah. So I'm like, but he's been pretty good. Like I've sprayed him a few times this morning, and now he's kind of staying away. So for a few days. Yeah.
Shooting it tomorrow?
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah. Tonight with a photographer and model that I met at an event last week. And
Who are they?
Luna and Will, so they're actually a couple, and I met them at a studio event last week, and we were just talking, and he's like, I have a bunch of lights, and I really liked the model, and I was just like, we worked well together, so I was like, well, let's shoot something, and then I showed her some of my sets that I build, and she really liked them, and she's like, oh, this is actually my boyfriend, he shoots too, so maybe we can just like get creative and stuff. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. So it's all set for tonight.
Well, I'm anxious to see the images.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna do a bunch of like behind the scenes videos and stuff. So, but when we're all finished here, I'll show you some videos that I made of it, and people, they're like, "That's really cute and creative." I'm like, "Thanks."
Well, that's one thing I'm not. I'm not creative
Okay.
in the photography sense.
Okay.
I can be very creative and putting together a lot of options in a small space. when it comes to building, like building a house,
Yeah.
I can be very creative.
Okay.
I did the house we built in East Texas. I had a laundry chute that dropped down onto into the laundry room.
Those are always cool. As a kid, I always wanted like a slide,
Well, we had
like a laundry chute, but it's a slide, so you can go downstairs.
well, this was a double-sided, so you get to it from two ways. But we closed up one side because our kids were younger,
Yeah.
and we didn't want them trying
To
to
go down it. Yeah. See, I would have probably tried to do that too.
And then we had, well, all kids.
Those are
were-
so cool. Like, oh my God, it drops down to another room. Let me get in.
Yeah, but you follow the story, and there's no padding on the bottom.
True. Yeah.
But then it was
And you built it?
Yeah.
And you built that? Okay.
built the house. We had a country-style house,
Okay.
porch all the way around,
Oh, that's nice.
2-story,
Was the porch on the bottom level or the top level?
the bottom,
Okay.
okay, and then dormer windows all the way around.
Nice.
And because of the house, there was a lot of space in what I'll call the attic above the porch around the house. So each bedroom had a built-in bookcase in it
Cool.
that was hinged and opened up to get access to all that space.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so if I was
So it was like hidden rooms almost?
Yes.
Nice.
and so if I was, need to run wires for whatever reason around the house, could go in there and go all the way around on that porch
That's nice.
really easily.
Yeah. Electric's hard work.
Well, but it could have been anything we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Put our Christmas decorations up there.
Yeah.
Made it easy.
Yeah.
And
That sounds cool. I'm picturing it in my head. Was it in the country or was it in...
yeah, it was in the country.
Nice. Okay.
We had 3 acres.
Cool, okay.
And it looked like a park.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, we fenced the whole thing, landscaped it, put a sprinkler system on nearly all of it. And I put the sprinkler system in myself.
Oh, God. That sounds like a lot of work, too.
Well, I had to have a real long sewer line dug. And small town, the guy that was going to do it had a heart attack. I bought his ditch witch,
Okay.
which had a big one, 7-foot, 6-way blade on the front, 6-foot chain on the back for digging.
Yeah.
And so I just, I dug the sewer line and then I did the sprinkler system.
Okay. Did you have your own well?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
We had a real deep well, had a 250-gallon compression tank,
Okay.
built a to hold the compression tank and all the valves. We didn't put any valves in the yard. We ran all PVC to new stations from the pump house.
Okay.
So we didn't have to worry about fire ants chewing through a wiring on a head
Right.
out there somewhere,
Right.
or a gopher.
Yeah.
And it took some planning out, but it made it so easy to maintain.
That's good.
And then we built a small, like wishing well, where the actual well was dug.
Okay.
But everything ran over to the pump house, and we made like a pavilion out of it, so it was a big covered area with, a place for all the equipment on one end.
Nice. Sounds like a lot of work.
It was a cool house. The coolest thing was it had a bomb shelter on it
That's cool.
from the 50s.
My parents have that too.
Do they?
Yeah, they live in the... Well, I lived in a teeny tiny town, but they live in the country, and they have their own well and bomb shelter, and Dad's a little bit of a prepper, so, he's got all the things. Yeah.
Well, whoever owned the property, back in the 50s, with the Cold War going on, was it
Was it a big one?
It was pretty good size.
Was it? How many people could you fit in it?
8.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, it had beds for 6.
Cool, okay. See, theirs is tiny. You fit 4 people down there and shut the door. That's all you got.
Well, this had the entry door, which was solid steel, and 3 foot by 4 foot. Mm-hmm. So you had to, get down to get in it.
Did it have 2 separate doors?
It had a emergency escape hatch.
Oh, that's nice. I'm always afraid.
On the top.
I'm always afraid like a big, like during a tornado or something like that, and it's just like a big tree falling on the hatch, and then you're gonna die in there. You know what I mean?
And
gives me anxiety thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna go down there. I'll just take my chances out here.
a counterweighted hatch on the top.
Oh, nice.
And so it had a real heavy railroad rack laying on it. But it was counterweighted, so you could just take a small stick and open it from the inside. It had a little pull-down metal ladder.
That makes me feel a lot better about having that. As long as there's if this entrance was blocked or, God forbid, a big tree fell on it or something, you could get out somewhere else.
Well, that would have been my fear. But
I'm really claustrophobic, so I can't. I don't even do elevators.
Really?
Nope, haven't done elevators in a couple years. Nope. I'd rather walk. I'd rather walk 20 flights. Got it. I'll meet you up there.
Yeah, in about 10 minutes.
Yep. It's okay. It's good for the glutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Good exercise.
Yeah.
But
it's a metal box of death. So
they, when we first bought the property and discovered it, and I opened the door and looked in, because it was dark, dust all over the floor. And I'm terrified of snakes.
Are you?
And I wouldn't go in it. And I didn't go in it for several years. But then my sister-in-law was there, and nothing scares her.
Yeah.
And she went all through it and then turned lights on. We took lights down there. And
yeah.
It was cool.
I'd be like, this is going to be my hiding spot. Just go away from the, everything and just kind of my hangout spot.
So we talked about your best shoot.
Yeah.
When saying get back on track. What was your worst shoot? What's been your worst experience modeling?
I had one recently. The guy he's been wanting to book me for years, and it was in Las Vegas. And wanted to book me for years, but I never really had time. And so I was like, finally had time this last go around. I think it was back in March or April or something like this year. And I go out there, and he only booked me for an hour, which is fine. But if somebody normally books me for an hour, I up my rate a little bit. That way it makes me, more gas money and more worth it. You know what I mean? Because I normally require 2 hours minimum to make it worth it for me. You know what I mean? To travel, and especially if I'm Ubering, or traveling, just a little bit more for me. But I get there, and he has. God, here we go. I felt like I was walking onto. I can cuss and stuff on this, right?
Yeah.
Within reason. Okay. So I felt like I was walking into almost like a porno shoot, right? So he had 4 cameras just set around the room, very crappy lighting, just very artificial lighting, you know what I mean? Which is fine, the photographer, if they don't know what they're doing or if they like that lighting, sure, go for it. But I get there, and there's 4 cameras, video cameras, set up around the room. And I was like, that's weird. And then he had a video camera, which he didn't tell me that we were shooting video, right? Which I normally just do sexy lingerie dancing or whatever, you know what I mean? Or just almost striptease stuff, right? And that's my limit. And if I'm not okay with something, I will let you know, whether I'm being nice or not. If you start to push my boundaries, I will still tell you I'm not okay with this. You're making me feel uncomfortable. So no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to let you push me into doing things I'm not okay with, you know what I mean? So I get in there, and he's he has his video camera as well, and then he has his actual camera that he's shooting me on. And I was just like, oh, I wasn't aware that we were doing video. We didn't discuss that prior, so I'm not doing that. And he's like, what? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that, sorry. And then I was like, and before we start shooting, depending on the cameras were all around, so if I was bending in a certain way, you'd be able to see things, You
shouldn't say.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to hide from the camera or whatever, you know what I mean? So I told him, I walked in and I was like, all these are coming down. Otherwise, I'm leaving. And he's like, what? And I was like, all of these we didn't agree upon. Otherwise, I'm charging you 5 times as much for all of the BTS that you're going to get that you shouldn't have. You know what I mean? And he was just like, I was like, take them down. And he's like, oh, okay. And so he eventually took them down. He wasn't really happy about it. And normally how I work, I start off in a set, whether it be a dress and I have lingerie underneath or whatever. And I do as many poses as like I can. And then eventually I do nudes after that. And then I switch outfits. It's very structured. And that's how I work. I'm not like, okay, 2 shots and then everything's off. You know what I mean? I want you to have a variety of shots that you can choose from, Instagram and Facebook friendly. But he would only take like 2 photos and then he'd like bark at me like, take your clothes off now. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So like the whole time he was kind of like just being a jerk about that kind of thing. And I told him, and I was like, I didn't get nude for him once because if you make me feel uncomfortable, I'm not getting naked. I'll still get paid, but I'm not getting naked. And again, with boundaries, if you make the model feel uncomfortable, she's not going to produce a lot of good things and she's not going to want to do her job. You know what I mean? And that's with any model. So multiple times he was just like barking at me. He's like, okay, now you get undressed. And like it was like almost like an order at me. And I was like, no, I'm going to get into another outfit. Got into another outfit and we were doing like some stuff on the stairs. I was posing on the stairs. And he's just like, yeah, we'll do this outfit and then you're getting naked. And I was like, no, I'm not actually. And you're not going to tell me to do anything that I'm not comfortable with. And you're making me feel very uncomfortable. And he was like taken back on how strong I am with my boundaries. And I'll stand up for anybody's boundaries. If you're making another model on a shoot feel uncomfortable, I'll come to you and be like, hey, she's uncomfortable. She's not willing to shoot that. And I've had to do that at shoots with other models that they're not okay with it. And they're not like a seasoned model like I am. And I'm not afraid to speak.
Or they're not outspoken.
Right. And they feel like they're almost being mean. And I'm like, you have to stand up for your boundaries. If you're not okay with something, let it be known. If they have a problem with it, don't shoot with them. You know what I mean? So I only had like a couple minutes left. We go upstairs to his boudoir area, and I was in lingerie. We walk past this room, and he has a massage table. And I was like, oh, you like to get massages, or like you give massages, nice. Because I have some back problems, so I get massages regularly. And I was just trying to make conversation with him to try to make it go faster, you know. And he's just like, I'll pay you extra if you'll let me massage you. I was like, no. I was like, yeah. Definitely not. So I shut that down real quick, and then he didn't really pry after that. But the worst part about it was I had 2 minutes left on the bed, which I was doing some poses and stuff, but I, again, wasn't getting naked because you made me feel uncomfortable. My timer goes off, which I time my sessions, and once it goes off, I'm done. You know what I mean? So timer went off, I go to get off the bed, and he goes, oh no, and then he goes to like push me back on the bed, like reached out and went to go touch me, and I was like, oh no, okay, so I'm gonna get aggressive with it. I got in his face. I was like, you're not gonna touch me. Because at that point, I told you not to touch me, you're making me feel uncomfortable, and you're pushing my boundaries even more than I told you that I'm not okay with. So I like stood up to him and was just like, what do you want to do? Because I'm not nice when it comes to if it becomes my bodily autonomy. I'm professional, but at that point, you're going to touch me. Not okay. And he went to go like shove me back on the bed. And I was like, no, that's not happening. And he goes, I'll pay you extra if you stay a little longer. I was like, I've been here for an hour, pay me, and I'm leaving. So like, and I haven't had, at the beginning of my career, I've had the creepy photographers, you know, that just hire women to see them naked or whatever. They don't actually care about their photography or being creative or the actual shot. So, and I haven't, thank God, only in like the first 2 years of my career that I ran into those type of people. But now I never run into those type of people because I know how to siphon them out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, you're a professional. You actually care. You're a professional. You know, your reputation exceeds you, you know. So I haven't had many creepy photographers since then. But that was one of my like kind of bad ones recently. And that was, and once I left, I blocked him, and I'm never gonna, nope. And he was just like, I'm like, how do you get this many people to shoot with you if you're acting like this on a shoot? You know what I mean? And I can only imagine what he's doing to the newer models that don't know how to say no. You know what I mean? Or aren't comfortable with their boundaries yet, or don't know what their boundaries are yet. You know what I mean? Because when they first start, you don't know what their boundaries can be. They could be, you know, you're playing around with, maybe you might be comfortable with this or whatever, and that's up to each model. But I'm only imagining, I'm like, I hope you're not pushing these girls to do something that they don't want to do. And that's the vibe that this person gave me, unfortunately. So that was one of my more recent, not okay ones.
Well, fortunately, you haven't had a whole lot of those.
No, not in like eight years. And normally again, especially if I go through a lot of town, like I go through town a lot and do a lot of touring, a lot of the people that have already worked with me will hire me again because they're like, you're awesome, you always produce a good thing, you're fun to work with, we always have a good time, you know what I mean? So they end up hiring me again and we work together for years to come. So I always have revisiting clients and friends, you know, because I consider them friends as well as clients, and we work together. So, yeah.
DFW photographers, be nice to her.
I'm a redhead, remember? So
Yeah, she's a little spitfire.
I am a little bit. When people get to know me, they're like, wow, you're feisty. I'm like, yeah, I guess. You know what I mean? So that was one of my recent bad shoots, I guess. And it just made me feel, especially being a model, when you leave those type of shoots, you feel almost like gross. You feel dirty. You feel like you were almost like used in a way. You know what I mean? Even though he didn't like touch me or anything, but the fact that he was talking to me like that, I would never talk to anybody like that.
Well, and
You know what I mean?
the unfortunate thing is you can't help but, for a period of time, be very cautious of the next guy you shoot with.
Right,
You know, whether stellar reputation, good guy, or everything else.
right.
He gets some of the blowback from your experience
Yeah,
with that guy.
yeah. So I try not to bring it into my other shoots, especially if I have other shoots after that shoot. I'm like, okay, I have to
That would
reset
be
my
the
mind.
worst.
Yeah, I have to reset my mind, shake it off. Not every experience is like this. So, and thankfully it wasn't. So, but yeah, sometimes that happens. And I just, especially with models, I had a model recently that I had like a workshop with, and this guy was like shooting things that he wasn't paying her for. Like she does like video work, like more adult video work, but he was only paying her modeling rate, and she has video rates. And when like he left the shoot, I was like, did he pay you for that? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay. So I called him. It's like, hey, she did this for you, and you're not expecting this to be free, so you need to send her rate. And he did.
Wow.
Because me and him had a relationship beforehand, and I'm like, hey, this is not okay. You need to send her the money that you owe her. You know what I mean? Because you
In
shot.
his defense,
Yeah.
it probably didn't even cross his mind. It just,
But he's a seasoned photographer. He's done this many of years, and he does this almost full time too. And he does like OnlyFans and stuff. He knows. That's the thing. But she was brand new. I think only like a year in or a couple months, and brand new model. But again, and I was like, I pulled her aside. I was like, how? And I didn't know how long she'd been doing it, so I didn't want to like tell her how to run her business. But I was like, hey girl, like, how long have you been doing this? After she told me, and she's like a few months. And I was like, no, that's. Your boundaries are your boundaries. You got to let it known now to everyone. Just be like, hey, I'm not okay with that. Or you're okay with my video rate, right? You know, just let it be known out front what you're doing and stuff like that. That way everybody's kind of in the loop and everybody knows. You
Yeah,
know what I
but-
mean?
I know for myself, when I was shooting a lot, I get so used to behaving one particular way, with, and it would not cross my mind that, let's say moving hair, hey? You know, people say, don't touch somebody.
You're like, don't touch the models.
Exactly.
Right. Or be like, can I
Yeah.
move your hair?
Yeah, and I don't think they can I move your hair. I just reach up here and move it.
Yeah.
That may have been him. He was so used to doing that, although she was new. It was something she didn't expect,
Yeah.
and he didn't cross his mind.
Right. But unfortunately, I know this person, so he knew better. You know what I mean?
Oh.
For this particular person. If it was like a newer photographer or somebody that he just does this all the time, and he just was like, oh, you know, but he knew. He even told me that he knew better. And I was like, you know better. Come on. We've been working for years. You know better. You know what I mean? You know. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, you know what I mean? So I was like, hey. But anyway.
So,
Yeah.
one of the things that is very important to me as a photographer is expressions from a model. Do you have a range of expressions you can do on demand, so to speak?
I'd say I do. Yeah, I'd say I do, especially if I'm like really having fun on a shoot. Like, I've had multiple people be like a photographer I've been working with for years, just trade because I love his work. We work well together, and he recently paid me before I left Denver, and he's like, since you're moving, I'm actually going to pay you, because we've never shot nudes before, but he wanted to shoot nudes for something, I don't remember. But he's like, I'm going to hire you this time, and we're going to shoot. And when I started shooting, he's just like, every time we shoot, he's like, I love your expressions. You work it, girl, you know? So I'd say I do. Sometimes, like, if I'm tired or something, I kind of get stuck in my same face. And then I have to kind of shake myself out a little bit and kind of take a breath. I'm like, okay, rest my face. Okay, reset. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I know we had a pin-up set for several years.
Yeah.
In Studio
You said
B.
pin-up?
Huh?
Pin-up?
Pin-up.
Yeah.
A vintage pin-up kitchen.
Cool, yeah. What color was it? Was it pink?
It was pink and teal.
Okay, I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those sets.
Yeah,
A couple.
Whitley's shot it a lot.
Yeah, I think Jasmine did too.
She may have.
Maybe. I've seen them on somebody's set.
And but especially in pinup, the expressions are make or break the shoot. I had a model in one time, never shot with her before, and she had a range of expressions that you couldn't believe.
That's awesome, though.
She was so good.
Very expressive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
Yeah, but she did it great.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was just blown away at how good they were.
Good.
And I've done shoots before strictly for expressions. You know, posts that I'm looking for somebody to shoot that can do expressions.
Okay.
And normally actresses do a better job
Right.
than just models
Right.
because they practice it.
Yeah.
And models don't practice that a lot.
Yeah, touche. Touche. I do want to start acting when I'm out here, though. Just like, not like main character. I don't need to be like main character. Like, I must be the main character in a movie. I'm like, as long as, because I've been on a lot of different sets, a lot of music videos. I've even done some like background acting on some TV shows. And it's just, you meet so many cool people just like hanging out all day. You meet so many friends. And it's more like community for me. You meet people that you have stuff in common with. And you get to hang out on set all day and, you know, do what you like and meet a bunch of cool people. And I always go for the directors and the producers and make friends with those people. And then they're like, you're awesome. I'm going to use you for more projects. And I'm like, thanks.
My brother has 105 actors working for him.
Oh, that's nice. Let's get in touch because I definitely want to start doing some background acting and getting into more, again, not main roles, but some main roles with at least some lines where you're like, oh, hey, that's Corrine.
Well, he does authentic Western recreations, but comedy.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And he's done 17,000 shows
Wow.
that he's either produced or acted in.
Oh, nice. So he's got a lot of work under his belt. That's good.
He's old. He's my younger brother, but I'm old too, so.
Well, that's good. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we had a podcast with him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw he has the mustache.
He's got the mustache.
Yeah.
The Sam Elliott look-alike.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I was actually scrolling through your stuff, I was like, wait, he looks so familiar. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not him, but he's the look-alike. I thought that for sure when I saw him. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you didn't watch the whole episode because we just posted it. He was telling us he's taken accidentally a loaded firearm on an airplane twice.
Oh no, he actually got it on the plane.
Got it on and got it off. They didn't.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This is pre 9/11.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they'd done a show the night before, and they had 12 microphones in a big bag. They were going flying the next day. And his wife put her personal firearm in the bag with the microphones. And he's going through security with it. And, you know, everything, sirens went off.
I've done that with knives before because, like, obviously as a model you have to travel with some, but I always check my stuff. Like, I carry mace and then a knife. If I'm driving somewhere, I have my own firearm as well that I carry. But yeah, I've had to be like, oh yeah, and then for a few times I'm like, oh my God, I have to throw this out, and then I have to throw my knife away. It stinks.
I've done that with a pocket knife at the airport.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I had this in here.
Years ago, I shot with 18, 20 years ago, a model that beautiful woman, very confident, and we were talking during the shoot, and I said, do you not, bring an escort with you or anything? So I don't need to.
Why? You're like, why is that?
And she says, because I'm armed.
You're damn right she is. I love that.
She was a policewoman.
That's awesome.
And then
she's like, I'm always armed.
And then she ended up being the police chief of the town, small town, East Texas.
Oh, cool.
That she lived?
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I have a few guns, but yeah. I had a misfire once, which was terrifying. Terrifying. And, but out here I want to take more, and I've shot for years since I was like
12.
16.
Okay.
Yeah. But never had a misfire before, and I had one back in 2022. Didn't pick up my gun for a year because it scared me that bad. Yep. But it's okay. I've done more shooting since then, but here I want to definitely get into some courses, as well as to get my concealed carry license as well. I want to get back into MMA, and then, yeah.
Well, in Texas, we have constitutional carry.
Yeah, I know.
But it's kind of hard to conceal in like the outfit you're wearing today.
Right, it's kind of heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I have like a leg strap or something, but then again, yeah. So that's why I want to get my concealed, because I have a gun bag and everything, so it looks like a purse.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So I want to do that as well. So.
Well, what is your next goal in modeling?
I more want to, I need to start traveling again. I haven't traveled for a little bit because of moving and all that stuff and trying to get settled in and all that stuff. But modeling wise, I want to start doing like commercial print for actual agencies, because I've tried the agency route right when I was like new, but not seasoned as I am now. So I want to get back into that side of things as well as being freelance, but I want to get into commercial print modeling as well as for acting as well. Maybe get signed to a couple agencies so they can help me kind of expand on that route. And I also do music too. I don't know if I sent you anything, but I'm going to record a bunch of music when I'm here. I have a couple shows next month that I'm excited for that are in Pennsylvania. So I'm excited for it. So I don't know, just a bunch of things.
So you're a singer?
Yeah. And I do shows and stuff, and I enjoy it. So, yeah.
Well, sing to us.
Oh, no. Right now. But, yeah. But, yeah.
You can't think of a song to sing?
I mean, I can. But normally when people are like, sing now, dance, monkey, dance. I'm like, ah! Yeah, my cheeks get all red. I'm like, oh, I don't have a song prepared, but...
Well, that makes it even better.
Right.
At least for being in the audience.
Right. That's true. But yeah, I do music too. So I already met up with a really cool studio here, and they want to work with me, and I'm excited to start work with them and expand on that route as well. So I have a bunch of goals in mind. I want to eventually get my real estate license as well, and then open up. It would be a small studio. It wouldn't be like large scale like this. It would be a smaller scale studio, so I can kind of test the waters and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of a selfie museum?
Selfie museum?
It's basically like, you have like cool sets at photography studios and stuff like that.
Yeah, just small sets, a whole bunch of them.
Whole bunch of them, and then you get people to pay maybe $20 or $30 to get in, and they can take all their pictures that they want.
For
have
an
a bunch
hour,
of
30 minutes, whatever
a bunch of ring lights all around, so they can take as much as they want, and then offer my photography on the side if they choose to have professional photos done. But I think people love pictures of themselves, so I feel like it'd go really well, especially here because there's a lot of young women.
I know of 3 that have opened up here. I don't believe they're open any longer.
I saw that.
May not be the best business model.
So mine would be, I don't want to give it away, but mine is a different idea. It wouldn't be just in one spot. I'll have to tell you later, because if I give all my ideas out, who knows? You know what I mean? Yeah, I just have a lot of goals here that I want to reach, and I'm glad that I'm finally here and able to expand.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Tell people how to get hold of you.
You can get a hold of me. Which camera am I looking at?
This one right here.
This one, okay. You can get a hold of me on Instagram at Corrine.carrie, Corrine.carrie. I am also on Facebook under that same name. And yeah, you guys can feel free to reach out if you need photography sets, a photographer, a model, a director. I've directed on a couple of video shoots and photography sets, stuff like that. I've helped new models. Back in Denver, I did agency work with new models and like taught them how to act on a shoot and what to dress like and kind of like coached them. So if you need a modeling coach or anything like that.
Well, I have to say, she is an enterprising young lady, that's for sure.
Why, thank you.
Corinne, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Well, bye, folks.